right, we are live, and we had a little bit of technical difficulties starting up because apparently I can't write work-mistress in my YouTube descriptions, which kind of pisses me off, but that's okay. YouTube does what YouTube does. I'm here today with Bones, and before we did this morning, Bones, I was thinking about calling you my work wife, and I was like, actually, I think Fat Phil has become my work wife. So I was like, yeah, Bones is the work mistress. Like
I'm the side chick.
He's the side chick. So how's it going today,
I'll
brother?
take it. Any attention I can get from you, man, I'm fine. I'm fine being the mistress. We know what it is, man. As long as he can. Actually, I like that better because you have to lie to Fat Phil. You have to go behind his back. So I actually feel more special. He
That
has to give
is.
you all the attention.
You
So
get all of the real stuff.
yes, I do. It's a way for me and him to know about, though. None of you guys out there.
No, man, I always love hanging out with you. It's just our schedules always are different. Somehow I can figure out scheduling with Captain Amazing, who is 13 hours time difference to me. And you and I are in the same time zone, but we just run completely different schedules. I'm like, oh, let's wake up at 8. And you're like, fuck that. I'm not doing that.
Well, I live the bachelor kind of lifestyle, so I just wake up whenever I want. You're more ROI and oriented, so it's get up early, get your shit done. So you've reached out to me many times, but I'm like, yeah, I'll do it. I'll fucking do it. And then it's like 1 p.m. when I'm waking up with like one eye, and because my seizure meds do knock me the fuck out because I do get up at this time and I take my seizure meds and I pass out. And when I wake up, I'm like pissed. I don't like sleeping that late. I do. You waste your day. Like my day is now done, and then I have to go right into streaming. And when I'm done, I get to spend like 2 hours with the wife and then repeat. So, but yeah, I'm glad we finally did it. I just made myself stay awake when my alarm went off. Took my pills. But yes, I love hanging out with you, brother. You're one of my favorite people in the entire world. You're my very good friend.
This morning when I woke up, I was like, I wonder if Bones is going to show up this morning. We'll find out. So I'm glad that you did. I'm glad that you're here. What I'm going to do...
I figured... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
So hold that thought for just a second. What I'm going to do is we have a lot to do today. We have TB, we have Conquest, we have roster reviews. We're going to see if my computer can handle all of these sources going up at once. It's TB day 2. I did my Cal's seer mission this morning because I didn't want to be embarrassed if I lost. And I didn't want to get yelled at by anybody watching, so I did beat that. I did win it. I have everything else that needs to get done, but we know I do my TB mostly on auto. So I want to get that started so that we can chat and we can talk to chat and we can completely ignore what's actually going on the screen, but still get our shit done so that I look all right to my guild, right? I'm setting the right example. Baroness, I shower every morning. I'm a morning showerer. I don't know about you guys. I think people that shower at night are fucking weird. That's my personal opinion.
I used to shower in the mornings when I worked, but now I don't. I shower at night.
I don't get night showers. It doesn't make sense to me.
It's because I have to shower.
I want to be clean for the day.
Speaking of mistress, there's my stream mistress.
Right there. Baroness is over there causing you trouble. She's been in stream for 2 minutes and already starting shit.
So what do you want to talk about today? You want to talk about about Datacrons, the new raid?
No, I gotta tell you, I was watching Merchant on Three Scoundrels, and I loved your little rant when Merchant basically fell asleep, and you're like, see, everybody fucking hates Datacrons. Every time Egnards is on here, he doesn't talk at all, and you can't shut Egnards up. But somehow once Datacrons come on, it was hilarious to me. I actually used SOKR on the wrong node. Oh well. So no Datacrons.
All right. I'll just give you some. I guess we'll make fun of you if you fail. Is that what we do?
That's fine. You can do that. I definitely use SOKR. Doesn't really do well on auto, and I usually use them on the Acolyte because it's one phase. But it looks like this is gonna come out on top. It looks like we're gonna be okay. We'll see. No, see, listen. Here's the thing about, because my wife is a night showerer too, right? After sweating all day, my wife won't let me in the bed unless I shower. I want to be. Sometimes you sweat at night, and if you don't shower in the morning, you smell gross to literally everybody. And then some people say, hey, I want to get into a clean bed at night. And like, that's fine if you shower twice in a day. But getting into a bed that has a little bit of dirt in it is fine because you're going to wake up and shower before you do anything productive with people. Right? So it's either you shower twice or you shower in the morning, or I don't get it.
I have a couple shower questions for you.
Yeah,
Me and
right.
my wife argue about this. It drives her crazy. Do you wash below your knees?
Yes.
See, I don't, and I never have, like ever in my life.
You just let the soap drip down and you're like, it's fine.
Yeah, it's fucking what matters about my legs. But yeah, things fall down there. I mean, I'm in the shower, so I just kind of brush my feet around in the water. But it drives her nuts. But come to find out, this is an actual thing. Some people don't
What?
wash below their knees. Yeah.
That doesn't make sense to me. Like, so I also, as a martial artist, I'm constantly barefoot, so I'm also like very aware of my feet getting dirty. So
Okay, I think I would start doing it then,
yeah,
because your feet are in contact with people and stuff, and they're just being exposed in general. 'Cause,
yeah. I
like
have to.
I live in Florida, but I hate wearing like sandals because
Oh, I love sandals.
I love sandals, but I just have this weird thing about my feet where I guess I feel like they're ugly. I'm not really a self-conscious person, but I
Everybody's feet
guess
are ugly, man. Feet don't
yeah.
look good unless you're talking to people on like Only Feet or whatever websites have that kind of content.
Some people
Um,
might like a little toe fungus though. Some people are freaks. You never know, man. And like my fucking wife she's so good to me. She'll like fucking manicure my feet and stuff, and I'm just like I feel so bad for her. She doesn't care. She thinks it's fun.
I've always wanted to go for a manicure. I've never done it. But I would do it. I've never
So
done it.
I think you should try it. Like I never really had one, but she did the whole thing for me here at home, and it's actually nice. So I think it'd be worth going out and doing.
Morning, Moonbird.
Um,
I'm just so stingy when it comes to my own money and spending on me. And that's my
yeah,
problem. Like, I'll spend on my wife, I'll spend on my friends, I'll spend on other things, but I never spend money on me. So that
I'm
becomes
kind
an
of the
issue.
same way. I'm kind of the same way because I have like the same clothes I've had for like 6 years.
Oh,
But
yeah.
sometimes Alex will force me. My wife Alex will force me to go like get a
Go
shirt
shopping.
or some pants or something. You know what I mean? So I'm fine wearing the same shit. I'm fine going to what is it? The fucking used store, the big
Oh,
Goodwill.
like
I'm fine.
Goodwill?
Yeah, I'm fine going to Goodwill and getting stuff and stuff. Where she's very very girly. So she does her own nails and does a good job. She fucking like I said, she can do manicures. She fucking dude fucking like like how nerds would have like shelves full of like action figures.
Yeah.
She has a fucking like perfumes,
Mm.
and she has like thousands of little sample perfumes. That's like her hobby is to sign up for sample perfumes. But I'm like the opposite. Like I don't care about. Sometimes this is gonna be gross to you guys, especially like sometimes she
Oh,
has to
boy.
remind me for me to put on deodorant because I'll forget. So like I
Balls.
literally don't give a shit. Yeah, I'm one of those
Balls,
guys.
brother.
I'm one of those guys. So you
Come
guys
on,
know.
man. Come
If I'm
on.
going out, but I don't ever leave the house anymore. So it's just like kind of whatever. Um, but with that being said, I gotta go
Um,
put on my deodorant. I'm just kidding.
so Norelli, if you shower twice, you're fine. You're good. That's fine. If you're gonna shower once, it's in the morning. It has to be in the morning. Um, Hurricane, we wash our sheets. I'd say every other week, unless like something happened, like I wet the bed or something, which happens often, obviously. But I would say about every other week we'll wash the sheets. Like I think that's a reasonable amount. Um, Baroness, you forced me to delete the wasteland, so I can't in good conscience. So, well, not you in particular, but you like 50%. Um,
Baroness, you won. Give it up.
yeah,
We're all on your side. Give it up. You won.
morally, we're all on our side. Yes. We're not going to talk about that here.
No, no.
We're not going to turn this into another The Wasteland. But that's why I'm not spending 800 cat on you.
So speaking of that, my Swugga Daddy, I was like 70 shards away from unlocking. So I have two Relic 7 Gungans. I had two left at 30 out of 100 to get to 7-star.
Okay.
Dude, he has access to my account. He's my Swugga Daddy. He went in, took them all over 7-star. Um, I had 12k crystals, so I I had been working on their gear as I was working on their shards. So
So you're
one
kind of
was at gear,
there-ish.
one was at gear 11 plus. The other one was like gear 9, gear 10, because I was working on the Chirotex. So I had enough fucking crystals, dude, to take them all to relics. For some ungodly reason, there's like this. Okay, the what is it? The left side pieces. They're
Yes.
pretty. They're
Yeah.
pretty accessible, right?
Yeah. I have millions of them.
I'm gonna log in and I'm gonna tell you exactly what one it is while we're talking about this.
I have
Whatever,
so much of that stuff. Let's see.
whatever it was, I couldn't even buy for crystals, let alone any other thing. Like nowhere. And you can ask Baroness; she was there. I refreshed those fucking stores till the sun came home.
Yeah, I don't
Like
think I've ever been limited by well, when they first came out, but
never.
in a long time, I don't think I've ever been limited by those left-hand sides.
In 8 fucking years, I've never like. Usually, at the very least, you can buy them with crystals. Not
Yeah.
even like so. I'm stuck on these fucking one gear note on each one.
Oh, so
Um,
are you gonna get screwed on Jar Jar? Is that what you're telling me?
no, we have like 4 days left, right?
Yeah. But you think you'll be able to
Yeah,
hit it?
I'm logging in right now. I'll do the PC client. Ugh, you can go in
I know.
instantly. It's almost faster than mobile. I fucking love it because
I
seven
know.
years of
I know.
BlueStacks. You've played it on BlueStacks, right? Is that
I
what you used to
played
play it
it
on?
no, I've played it once on BlueStacks because I was helping someone out with his account, like as a guild thing. So I know what
Mm,
BlueStacks is like, but I play on my phone. I have my phone connected to my Mac.
okay, most people do that as well, especially streamers who have experienced that. But BlueStacks, I don't know why I picture them Ugnaughts, but I just picture Ugnaughts behind the BlueStacks program, fucking cranking the gears and slowly. I mean, it's the slow. I think you sit there on the load screen for 10 minutes, and that's being nice, and it's the longest fucking thing. Now I have the PC client. You click it, I mean, in an instant, you're in the
I
game.
know. Shut up. I want the PC client. I get it. Meat had reached out to me. And he literally says, he's like, hey, I need your email that you sign up for EA, but don't ask any questions. And I was like, okay. And weeks later, nothing happens. And I go, hey, man, so what was that about? And he was like, oh, I wanted to make sure you had the PC client. And I was like, are you shitting me? So I went on my PC. I have it, and I've had it since the beginning. But like my PC is so old and it needs so many updates. Like my heatsink fan is completely destroyed. So like turning it on for more than a couple minutes and just doing like the most basic things, it doesn't work. And I have a hard time justifying the expense just because I don't really have the time to play games anymore. Like
Yeah.
you hung out when Moonborn and I were playing board games. That was like the first time I had been on my computer in maybe 6 months.
Oh, really?
Beat Creations, man. Cheers. You're always on my videos. I appreciate the support. So thank you for that. I know you can spec one out for me, but it's the expense versus how much I use it that is killing me. And we've talked about
Guys,
doing like a
he can't
sponsored
get
stream.
he can't get ROI out of his head.
I
We've got
can't.
to get ROI out of his head.
I don't like spending money on myself. This is what we were talking about before, and even like during the stream starts. If I want to buy a $30 like PlayStation game for myself, it'll take me 2 weeks to convince myself that it's okay for me to buy the game. And then I'll still feel guilty for a week afterwards. Merkin, I have an Intel one. I know about the whiskey trick. I saw it on Reddit. I tried it. I turned it on. And then it was like, this only works with the silicon one, the M1. And I was upset. I was very upset.
Okay, so talking about that piece, Grax, good to see everybody, by the way. All my people, all Egnards people, good to see you guys. And everyone in between. So it's the MK12 Armatech multi-tool. So it looks like it's a gold piece that looks like a welder thing. I don't know. You only need 30 pieces of it. Now, today, I can buy it with different things, several options from the weekly shipment. But dude, I refreshed all of those many, many times and couldn't get them.
But they
Not
popped
to
up
mention,
today.
but today now I'm about to take everyone to Relic too today. Now because I'm looking and the options are there. Also, it was the MK Nubian security scanner salvages. They just look like boxes. They're purple. I couldn't
Okay.
get any of those
Yeah,
either.
the purple ones are always a pain. I have trouble with those. I am constantly farming the purple things. Whatever purple thing I'm lowest on, I am always farming it. Whether it's the security scanner, whether it's the med packs, I'm always farming them. Chirotech don't even limit me anymore. That is what limits me, is those purple pieces.
I'm just blown away that there's not crystal. So I'm looking now though. So on my other one, it's that sword, the gold sword that you need 30 pieces of all the
Yeah.
time. The Armatech bayonet prototype salvage. Nowhere.
I
Nothing.
love
All it
farming
says.
those because those you can also they're impulse detectors I think too. So I always like I buy them in the shard shop. I buy them in the I think it's the guild store. I always buy those because I can deconstruct them
Same.
and I can use them.
And you always need them.
And you
Always.
always need them. Hurricane, that's basically what I do. I don't know if I downloaded the new Mac OS yet, but I have my phone is that's what I'm playing on right now. Is I'm playing on my phone, but I do have it plugged into a source of my computer into a USB-C slot on my computer, and that's how I've always played on the Mac for streaming. But I would like to make use of the PC client.
Yeah, it's so nice. Like now, if I do anything else, it just stands out because it's so good.
Maybe
It's like,
Bones. Maybe you can get me a Swugga Daddy for my birthday.
all right, that's what you need. You should be having them. I don't know mine just came to me. It was fate. It was destiny.
Yeah, if you could find me a Swugga Daddy for my birthday, that'd be great. You have
I'd
two
be your
you have two
sweet guy if I
weeks.
could be. All right. Maybe someday I'll make money and I'll be your swugga daddy.
You'll be my Swugga Daddy.
I'll go from mistress to swugga daddy.
Have my work wife, and I'll have a Swugga Daddy, and I'll have to find a new mistress.
I'm glad we can be weird like this together. I can't talk to Logan like this, or he'll get out the priest or something.
No, I told you, man. I've said this on Discord a lot when people like say things to me. I'm like, dude, I've never lost gay chicken. Don't play with me. Like, I
And
will
what's
win
funny is
every time.
I've always done that with my friends, but you can just tell some people aren't comfortable with that.
Yeah. No, I could flirt with a rock, like, and it's bad. And I will tell people, I'm like, I know I'm being flirtatious, but I promise it's just my personality. I don't actually, because I literally, I could flirt with, like, a mailbox.
What's funny is I never considered it flirting, and I
No,
was
but that's the
telling
thing.
Alex,
I don't either.
But so what I was about to say is I was telling Alex about this conversation that me and you, that you mentioned gay chicken, and I never even heard it called that, but I knew exactly what you're talking about because I'll do it with people. I'll be the one to start it and just fuck with people. And she goes, "That's because you flirt with everybody." That's what she said. She goes, "You flirt with everyone, and you just don't realize it." And I'm like, "No, I'm just
Yes.
kidding around." And so she said exactly what you said, and I'm like, "Wow, I've heard Egnards say that." So maybe I am flirting. I don't
I
fucking know.
I say that I am because now like I realize that I am, but I don't think of it as flirting. I just think of it as me being nice and me being friendly, and I get comfortable with people really quickly, and I'm fine with chatting with people. If I'm not
Yeah,
comfortable with you, I'm not hanging out with you.
yeah,
And I'll get that comfort really, really, really quickly.
yeah. I think it doesn't have to do it like you're saying. I can get comfortable with you no matter who you are, how you are. It's if you're comfortable with me,
Yeah.
that becomes the problem. I've known people who like I'll be hanging out with my mutual friends that we're just cool, but someone will come outside the group that maybe someone else brought in,
Yeah.
and like I've gotten we like I used to party a lot, drink a lot, and I've had guys that have tried to fight me out of nowhere, just get super drunk, and I guess he didn't like me and like try to fight me, and that's not the first time. I've had a lot of people just despise me because I guess because I'm comfortable. I don't I don't know about being myself, and I don't know, but it's very strange. Some people do not like personalities like mine. Um, I do talk a lot, so that might be why. So I
Yeah.
probably say
I
something to piss people off because it
I was
happens with
I was
it
waiting for you to
happens with a
shut
lot
up.
of people.
You see what I did there?
Yes, yes. I don't even think Egnards likes me, guys. He just puts up with me.
I just put up with you.
I keep begging him to put me on with him, so that's why we're here.
Well, again, we'll circle back to what we were saying in the beginning. We have on more than one occasion, I've said, yeah, I'm going live at like 8:30, and you'll be like, okay, I'll be there. And then at 11, you'll be like, oh, I just woke up.
Well,
I'll be
it's
like,
a
well,
hard
I have
life,
limited
man.
time, man, so I am already online. I'm already playing. And we just figured out, like, I felt so stupid when I was trying to figure out OBS with you because you're like, oh, just this thing and this thing and this thing. And on my screen, I was like, I'm not seeing any of this. And it's different on Mac. And now that I've realized that and I know what the sources are called, I'm like, oh, it's easier to get people on.
Yeah, it's just what's the word? Just like when you're starting a new job, like none of it makes sense, but after you've been there for a while, um, it's super easy. You just gotta get used to it, pretty much.
Yes.
I would say.
I don't remember. Oh, I gotta do these. Let's see. Did we success on this? Oh, perfect. I don't have to yell at anybody today. I love that.
Good job, Egnard's yield.
Yeah, well, we really shit the bed last time. And I know some of my guildmates listen, and I don't give a shit because none of them are the people that shit the bed. But somebody over deployed somewhere, even though we locked it 30 minutes beforehand. And it wasn't malicious, they just weren't paying attention.
Right.
And it became like I had to sit down. I was watching Cobra Kai. I had to sit down for 2 hours mathing out a different strategy just to figure out how to get us as close as possible to where we should be. And it took me 2 hours to do, and then I had to go to work, and it kind of sucked. I was like, man, these were my 2 hours to like enjoy and hang out and just relax. So we
It,
had a
it
really, really bad TV.
it is not fun feeling the wrath of your guild when you've over deployed.
You know what? If you and Moonborn, if he's here still, because sometimes he's weird and watches me on his TV, so he can't respond. Um, he can
Hello,
attest, and
Moonborn.
and anybody else can attest. I don't do that. My first thought when I found out that it happened was, all right, it happens. Like, I get it. Mistakes happen. No big deal. My message after TB wasn't don't make mistakes anymore. It was, guys, just so you understand, when you make these mistakes, you not paying attention for 2 minutes costs me 2 to 3 hours. So like,
Yeah.
just please do your best to pay attention. I don't get mad at people. I understand that mistakes happen. I've made mistakes before.
So our guild, so Avant's like an officer. He's not the leader, but I call him the leader because he's the leader. He's the unofficial leader.
Yeah, he does a
I
lot.
love I love the leader, but he's more just an officer. So the officers are cool. They never really ridicule anyone, but it's the guild mates that you can't shut up. That's what I meant. It's like this may not be for you, but like the guild mates in our everyone's nice, but like they're gonna let you know, like
Say this
they
right
just let you know that you fucked up. And I was like, I always feel really bad for those people because it's like I did that one time, and because of all the shit I got, I was like, I'm never doing that again.
I've shit the bed on this battle. I wasn't paying attention. Oh well. Grax, man, I can't. When I what do you preload? I always hold 1 million because I wear Bonez's tinfoil hat, and I just go no. I have to.
I'm not in the chat. What's he talking about?
Oh, he was just saying that they preloaded Mustafar, whatever it's called, to like within 10,000 of
That's close.
the goal. That's too close.
That's really close.
It's way too close. Let's get this gun gets in here.
10K, man. Sometimes we've had people like doing they've either deployed or they're doing a mission at the exact same time.
Yeah.
And that's sent you over. So you do want a little bit of
Yeah. So what we do when we do a preload is I always hold about 10 to 15 million. So I'll tell people hard stop at like 15 million. So our hard stop on Mustafar right now is 130 million, and 1 star is 143 million or 148 million. So we do a hard stop about 15 million ahead of time, and then I'll close it, and we'll wait like a half hour before we do our preload or our walk up to try and prevent that. Right? We'll close down every single combat, and we will wait. Because that's happened before, and it does happen. And even doing all of that, it still happened last time. But it is rare.
Yeah, it does suck how much it affects your overall ROI of your when it's all said and done. It'll make you miss out on a star or two.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
But when it comes down to the rewards and getting mad, like what I try to remember, and I was having this discussion actually on stream with the chat yesterday, is the reward differential between like 37 stars and 39 stars is really very small. So it's not worth getting angry over losing 50 crystals and maybe a very small amount of materials. And people joke about me when it comes to autoing things, but what it comes down to is people put 100% of their effort into this game, and then they get burnt, and they get burnt out, and then they put in 0 effort. I would rather put in 60 to 75% effort, and it takes me much, much, much less time, and I'm much less likely to get burnt out that way.
Yeah, and I've been there. I get there sometimes. I have to like chill out sometimes. And you know what? Like I don't know. Like I said, I go up and down sometimes. You probably know where I'm at with the game right now, but I'm getting a little bit better. Yeah, sometimes I just take it too seriously, and I think it's just from doing it every day, and I don't even know I'm getting to that point. And so sometimes people have to say, "Hey, man, like, it's all right, just chill out." And then I that's not the only thing in life that I do that with, and so some people have to do that in other things, and I just have to like reassess, look at myself. Sometimes I forget to do that, and just chill out because like when I first started when I got in the skate podcast, I know you don't know much about them, and I've talked to you about it before.
Talk about them,
but they were a big deal. Like they were part of the puzzles. Siege, Crumb would go on there many times. They did the one and only speed grind arena they did with the developers and the content creators. They hosted the thing, so they were a big deal. So I got on there and I was like, I can't believe they brought me out of all. They knew every fucking content creator. They got Arnold on their farewell episode. Like they knew Heinze before he was big. They knew Gridden before he was big. Um, I think like Paul helped with like the overlays of um, the Urs and Cub fans Han thing that's been going on forever. That's somebody else now. The Rogue Actions, like the original
Yeah.
Rogue Actions overlay, was like made by Paul, the main host of Escape Podcast. So when that happened, I started like taking myself way too seriously
Hmm.
in Grand Arena and stuff, and I was losing all the time. So I found after a while, like when I take the game too seriously, I lose more. Like I do worse. And you've seen my streams when I just go in and just start fucking clicking and having a good time and
You
just
have more fun
whatever.
too, you know.
Yeah, I have more fun and I'm winning more than I'm losing whenever I don't give a shit. So it
Well,
is a weird thing.
I've lost 6 Grand Arenas in a row at this point. And I'm coming off a 6-win streak too, and then now I'm on a 6-lose streak. I just don't care because I know I'm gonna stay in Kyber 2, right? I know that. I know it's gonna change. So those short-term swings, they used to piss me off before I was turtling, and now when I turtle, I go, all right, well, I lost. It's not a big deal. Whatever. I'll make it up in the back end, and having a crystal hoard helps with that because I don't
Yeah.
need to worry about those extra 600 crystals in the short term.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I think I talk a lot of shit lately about the game, but I think it really is a fun game. Um, and so I just think people get wrapped up in it,
100%.
and
Um,
it's like I said, I do the same thing. It's just strange how it does it to you, but people got to definitely remember it's just a fucking game.
I've had those moments, and I've had to walk myself back, and my mindset has changed significantly where it doesn't happen anymore because my mindset has changed.
Yeah,
You know, and now being a semi-known entity, a lot of people do reach out to me in GAC, and I love when that happens. When I get a message and they're like, "Oh my God, you're Egnards!" Like I'm so excited to face you, and then I'm like, "Well, don't get too excited because because
I
I'm
like
gonna
it.
lose one battle and give up."
Crush everyone's dreams because everyone wants to fight a content creator. You know.
Yeah, but anyone who knows me knows that I don't take GAC seriously.
Yeah.
Um,
If I
they,
fight,
Go ahead.
you, you have to take it serious.
No, there's a few people like that I know, and if they tell me it beforehand, I will agree to like silly rules. You know, I'll agree to
Okay.
doing like a fun battle or doing something different, like, cause that's fun. I will agree to like going on a stream and doing that, cause that's interesting to me.
Yeah.
Lady
Like
Geek for
having.
TB, we basically do the same thing. There's 2 of us, and we chat between each other, and we talk, and we confirm, and we do it. And last TB, it just happened because the map doesn't update automatically. I think what happened is one of our members was on the map, got distracted by a work meeting. Then they logged back into the game really quickly, and they were like, "Oh crap!" Whatever. It's not that big of a deal. But that we basically do the same thing that you guys do.
We're just gonna come on live and ridicule you.
Yeah,
Who was it? Let me know who it was. I'm just kidding.
I actually don't even remember. Because I
It's
don't
okay.
pay attention to it that much. Grax,
Yeah.
you know, I had somebody on Reddit like 4 months ago posted a screenshot of TW with my guild, and I guess they were a lower end. My guild doesn't take TW seriously. We do encourage people to always join, but so we're not like intentionally sandbagging. But our rule is join if you're gonna play, don't join if you don't have time. And somebody posted on Reddit a screenshot like, this is Egnard's guild, they're sandbagging, like, look at them, they're 580 million and we're 490 million, and how dare they. And I just thought it was like the funniest thing. So I was like, we literally do not care about TW. You probably played us because we just lost 3 in a row, and because it
Yeah.
was like a holiday weekend and 10 people were on vacation. Nobody's trying to hurt you here, like I promise.
I think a lot of players don't understand that the system in TW and GAC both are set up for like when I say this, it doesn't mean like that's where you're at as a guild right now, but you're kind of set up to win and lose 50-50.
Just
Like
about, yeah.
I get these like crazy guilds that make it that's their thing. They're not going to be 50-50.
Yes.
You know, they might be 75%, you know. But if you're just an average guild, you're going to lose some, and then you're going to go up against several that you're going to kick their ass. That's kind of what sucks is you're either going to kick their ass or you're going to get your ass kicked. There's no, sometimes, very rarely, you'll have an even match where it's fun. You know what I mean?
We actually had one last week. Our first match last week, we had one that went the distance. We ended up winning, but it was a fun match because it was pretty close the entire time.
Yeah.
And then we got destroyed by like a TW feeder guild for the gauntlet. We were like, all right, well, whatever. We're gonna lose. No big deal.
I hate to be mean to those people. I have people come in and go, we've won 100. Someone come in, I don't remember who it was, and he goes, my guild has won 196 TWs and we've lost 3, which sounds like an insane ratio, but maybe that's true. I don't know.
There are a few guilds. There's a guild in our alliance, Awakened Rebels, I think. I haven't checked on them in a while, but they're a TW guild. They do really well in TW. Like, that's what they love doing, and that's fine. If that's your thing, great. It's not my thing.
I hate to be. I'm not being mean to them, but all I can really say is like, I go good. I'm glad that someone in the game actually has fun playing that mode. And I hate to be mean, but I'm just like I think we're not. For once in my takes, I'm not in the minority of TW. Is just, and I don't have an answer, you know, to what they could really do. I honestly feel like not even changing it and just bringing some quality of life.
You know, my biggest hate on TW, and this comes down to quality of life, and maybe you're going to answer this in a second anyway, is ever since they changed TW, because TW used to be, and it needed to change because it wasn't fun, it was easy, everybody cleared every time, but you set 4 teams basically. Everyone kind of set 4 teams. You could set more, but like everyone basically needed to set 4 teams. Now, I just hate setting teams. I hate having to put something in every territory. I hate having to access the datacron. It just takes, it only takes like 5 minutes, but it feels like it takes so much longer.
Whenever I see it's time to set teams, I just, my eyes roll in the back of my head.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's not really that hard. It's not even that kind. I don't know why, but you're right. It seems like such a big inconvenience to me. And that's right where I was going. I wasn't even going to say anything, but since you said that, that's the quality of life we need. Yeah. Somehow, I don't know. Like, you're going to be mad at me. Everyone gets mad at me, but I'm not saying Marvel Strike Force is better.
No, so we've actually talked about this before, and I want you to continue. But from our discussion on this, I think it was on Three Scoundrels. I don't play that game. I only played it for a very small amount of time, but the way you describe it, I like the idea better. And so, continue with it because not everybody knows. But
okay, so how it works is, first of all, it's honestly just set up differently, and it's more fun. It's hard for me to I'm terrible at explaining things. Like, I can have something in my brain, but when it comes out of my mouth, it just is word vomit. But so I think there's 9 sections. Okay, imagine like 9 little sections, and each section has 2 players and their teams. So instead of having territories, I mean, you could still call them 9 territories if you wanted.
Yeah.
But it's not the same as that. So one territory only has 2 people in it, 2 players. And each player sets, I don't know what it's at to, but let's just say you set 8 defensive teams. Okay. And it's like a grid. So there's 3 on top, 3 in the middle, 3 on the bottom. There might be more than that, but I feel like it's a 3x3 square. But there's only 24 people in a guild in that game. So it's not 50. I think you can still do this. I'm going to explain how it works, but this isn't what I think should happen in TW. I'm just explaining how it works in MSF. And so you can't see, sort of like TW, is you can't see what's below the top three. You have to eliminate, let's say you're starting with the very first top left corner. You have to
Yep.
get rid of, so in one territory total, there's 4 players. So on one side you have 2 players, and then on another side you have 2 players. So there's a total of 4. Anyways, you clear that one out, and then it reveals the one underneath it. So that's kind of how it works. But what's cool about it is you set your defenses and you never worry about it again. And you can go in and you can kind of, like, it's more like Grand Arena the way it's set up, where you can just kind of set your shit. What I like about Grand Arena is you can kind of evolve your defense. Like, some people change them every fucking day. I'm never doing that, and I'm guessing as you Turtle, you don't do that either.
I don't do
I
that
don't
at all.
scout. I don't do that shit, and I'm comfortably in K2. I'm just limited to what I have on my roster. But you can still, since you don't change it, you can kind of evolve things. Maybe you get a new character, or you find out a new team, so you can kind of just move things around a little bit. That's what you can kind of do there in Marvel Strike Force. But what I'm getting to is that it remembers your teams. You don't have to take them off; they're there. So I mentioned that one time. And, another thing is the officers, if they want to, can move your teams around to different sections. If they want to evolve the defense, they can do it for you. You don't have to. And I was talking about this in Three Scoundrels last time, and Avant's like, "Well, I don't want to have to move things around." Well, I get it, but if you want to, you can. I can move them around. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
but just to have the ability to do that,
The attempt.
yeah, is nice. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the most basic problem with TW right now is when you set a team down, it is permanently down there. You can't edit it. Why can't we edit that team whenever until attack time? Just like we could in Grand Arena. I just don't know why they don't apply Grand Arena quality of life to TW. Now, Avant had a really good opinion or a take on that. Is, well, what happens when 50 of you join and all your defenses are set, and let's say it remembers that. But what happens whenever only 35 people join? Do you think that would make a difference, or it would just take away those 35 people's teams and wouldn't it
I
stay
think it
the
would
same?
just take away their teams.
Yeah.
It's definitely, I think it would just take away those teams. But what I like about this idea, and you didn't mention it here, but you mentioned it when we were talking about on Three Scoundrels, is that because you're setting teams as a player and they're in different spots, we don't have to deal with these giant walls. And the problem with these giant walls is that every team essentially has 1, 2, maybe 3 counters to it. And I don't have 24 hours to be on call as an adult. Like, I want to be able to go in, I have 45 minutes, let me do my attacks. But the way that TW works, it's like, all right, there's 40 Jabbas, I can maybe take out 2 of them, and now I have to wait for the California guys to wake up. Now I have to wake up for the guys in the Caribbean to wake up. Now I have to wake up for Moonborn and the Germans who are taking over my guild to wake up, right? And I have to wait over this constant amount of time. And 6 hours later, when that wall breaks, I'm like, all right, well, now I'm teaching. I don't have time to kill the next wall.
Yeah. And whenever I don't know someone's face or know their personal life, and I meet you, just know that I think you're a basement nerd that just sits in your basement all day. But honestly, every fucking person I've met, I'm more the basement nerd than anyone I've met. Most everyone is busy like you. Most everyone has a job. Most everybody has a family. You know, if you do YouTube, like, I'm sure you've seen your statistics.
Yeah.
Our
like 35 to 55-year-olds who have
I was about
kids.
to say, yeah. Our median is 35 to 50 years old. That doesn't mean there's not some younger people, but we are in the demographic of having families, having jobs, working all the time. So like TW doesn't cater to that. And sometimes I think that's where the game is kind of having a problem with. It's like, it's not thinking about the people who play it or their demographic. They're
Yeah.
just thinking, how can we keep you guys in the game longer? Because that's what these mobile games want. They don't want you to have a second account. They don't want you to go play another game. They want to get you in there as long as possible. And they
Yes.
don't really care because that's more money for them.
And I don't
Every
have
minute
time
you
for
spend
that.
every minute you stay in the game is more likely that somebody is going to spend some money.
Yes.
And that's another time you're spending resources or whatever. So the longer they can keep you in the game, the better for them. Their ROI is good. Doesn't mean it's good for anyone else.
Absolutely. And for me, and I've said this before on stream, I'm somebody who I'm in the demographic as I haven't spent in a while. The last time I spent was $2 on Duel of the Fates. I'm not even going to go into that because I've been very, very grumpy about that for a long time. I probably will not spend again for a pretty decent amount of time. I'm not even bothering with this. But I don't even care about monetization. I don't care that they make whales spend tons on data crons. I'm fine with that. I don't care about marquees. Like, oh, that reminds me, now that TB is over, right? Did I do my marquee waves? I'm fine with them charging whatever for the marquees. I just don't have to buy them. But
Yeah.
I am somebody that would typically be willing to spend between $20 to $50 a month on a game like this just to support the developers if I felt like my timer respected. And that's the one thing that sometimes I feel like a few quality of life things would completely change my opinion. And I do love the game. I enjoy the game. I'm like 7 out of 10 on it right now. And it could jump to a 9 of 10 just on little things that don't affect anything other than just the quality of things.
Yeah, I agree. And trust me, everybody, I know I'm being negative. I'm already seeing people say, this is the calmest, I see people already say, this is the calmest I've ever heard Bonez speak. I know. I'm trying to be more positive lately, guys. But I'm not getting a lot of respect from CG just in general. I've bitched about this a lot, but like used to, at the minimum, we'd get 3 Clone Wars Chewie shards for mistakes they made. They're making more mistakes than they've made in a long time, bug wise. You know what I'm saying? There's some pretty bad bugs out there. Doesn't mean they haven't had things that aren't bugged, but they used to. They'd be like, all right, here's some Clone Wars Chewie shard. It was never anything really worth it, but they at least showed you a little bit of respect and said, we're sorry. Here's a little bit of something. They won't even do that to us anymore, and no one seems to really give a shit, and that's fine. But I've just noticed the little things like that. I don't know. I feel like
I think what ends up happening, and this happens to a lot of games, I don't spend a lot of time playing other games. I just started playing this like Clash of Clans clone.
I heard you say that, yeah.
Right? It's called Top Heroes. I don't get anything for talking about them, and it's a game that I'm probably going to quit in like a week. But I spend a lot of time like playing games for like a very short amount of time and then giving it up. And what I noticed is that when games are new, they do that because they're in that player acquisition phase. And then as you get out of that player acquisition phase, they kind of start to taper that off a little bit. And CG's been out of that for a while. But they still like 4 really, really big things. You know, even the Zetas for Defense of Dathomir. They're running the event 4 times this month, which I'm pretty sure is 1 time more than they need to. So everybody should be getting +2 Zetas from where they would be whole.
Yeah, and like I get that, but like it's not even simmable, so you can't give me like extra 2 or 4. It's not like a whole Zeta. I'm picking here. I'm picking. Like I get that they're letting us run it, but like, can you just thrown us 4 Zetas and we would have shut the fuck up about it 3 months ago or whenever it was?
It is weird that they didn't just send them out instead of saying, "Hey, in a couple of weeks we'll figure this out," and whatever. I do think it is a little bit weird that they
and this stuff doesn't bother a lot of people. Like no one gives a fuck a lot. It's just I've been like a full-time content creator for other hero collectors, and Awaken Chaos Era is one. It's a good game. It's just a raid clone. It's a good game though. It's fun. But just like when I got to the end game, it was nothing but farming gear, and so I just quit. But I made a pretty big following over there. But it's exactly what you said, and I think every mobile game does this.
Yes.
They're gonna put out a bunch of stuff saying, we got a new game. The packs are friendly. Everything's friendly. There's a lot of communication. All the fucking developers are talking and answering questions like constantly in the Discord. It's just very friendly. It's awesome. And then when they get their ROI in, where they get the money that they know that they need to meet, and they're steady, that seems to slowly go away. Dragon Champions did the same thing, which I was also a content creator for there. I've seen it. And so people get mad when I say that this is the signs of a dying game. But it really is, because I've been part of long-time parts of games that have died the same way. But when I say that, the game's not ever going to die. This game could go on for as long as people think of Star Wars. This game will fucking continue on. So I want people to realize that. But I can think of 2 or 3 games I played until it died.
Well, I think so. There's a lot to unpack here, and I know that we got into a very heated discussion about this on Three Scoundrels, and I want to just hold the thought for like 30 seconds so we can transition into Conquest, where I'm not going to pay attention to my Conquest at all while I'm chatting with you. But
do your thing, bud.
Before we do that, my YouTube was all over the place. I have the YouTube chat back up, so I wasn't ignoring you guys, but I am just now seeing it again. I know the joke is that nobody agrees with you, Bones, and Bodie's in here making fun of you about that. I've said this to you before. Like, I outside the tinfoil hat, I thought we would never agree, and I find that I do agree with you more often than not.
So fuck you, Bodie. If you guys don't know, I'm part of Three Scoundrels, and in our Discord, Bodie runs the Discord, and Bodie created a thing that says, I agree with Bones. And honestly, a lot of people went in there trying to agree with me, and Bodie, it's a troll. And so whenever you go in there to put something, I know people are trying to agree with me because I get a notification, and then when I click on it, there's nothing there. It automatically gets deleted. So, but I've had people that don't understand it, like literally go into my DMs and be like, "Hey man, I'm trying to agree with you, but I can't post it." I was like, "Yeah, it's a troll." That's Bodie for you.
So I do want to get into this conversation here, because I do think it's an interesting conversation. I have a lot of thoughts on it, and I always hate when you guys talk about something that I'm like, oh, I have all these thoughts about, and I'm not on, and I'm listening to it the next morning. But in terms of Conquest, we did our stuff yesterday. I'm on track for where we need to be. I hit Sector 3 yesterday. My whole philosophy is just try to get to 0 effort by Saturday. So if by Saturday afternoon my effort is literally just start a battle and let it go, great, right? And so that's why, like, I am 0 for 35 on Jedi Knight Cal Kestis battle wins or kills, because I don't need them. My JML team will put in that work, and it doesn't matter if it takes 5 battles or 20 battles. All that matters is when you get to Datacron farming only, which is my important thing. So so Bodie, on my Discord, we actually have a command now. It is !Bones, and it links the FU Bones GIF, and it tags him. I've limited people to using it once an hour, because otherwise he would get spammed all day. But we're ahead of you on that one.
Can we steal the GIF and let Bodie do it in the Three Scoundrels?
Yeah, it's not my GIF. I don't care.
All right. I saved it because I thought it was so funny. It actually doesn't make me mad. It makes me very proud that
people are always thinking about you.
Yeah. And I'll be like, in your Discord, I'll be like, oh, someone tagged me, and I'll go there. It's just a fuck you, Bones. That's all it is. And no one's even talking about me or what's my opinion.
It's just every hour someone needs to F you. I don't know if you noticed this, but your last Three Scoundrels, we coordinated so that every 5 minutes somebody would use that message. So after you got off, you probably had like 50 tags in my Discord of people just doing that over and over and over and over again.
I was just about to mention that. Yeah, I thought that was, like I said, I think I made like a meme, like a tear in my eye because I was so proud of you guys.
All right.
Um,
So I want to get back to that conversation. I'm just gonna tag this timer here so that I can tag this all later while I ignore my conquest.
I also want to set up to like, because that fucking last episode was fucking chaos, and like the chaos like bled afterwards.
Yeah,
I don't think my take was that good, but like before the show started, it was just supposed to be me, Avant, and Merchant.
yeah.
And then fucking Egnards lets in Mr. Who, which he's.
I didn't let anybody in.
Oh, I didn't mean Egnards. I'm sorry, Avant.
Avant.
Sorry, Avant. Avant just lets a random guild member in. And like he's been very vocal about how he doesn't like the game. You guys heard it if you listen to this episode. And so, but like somehow his negativity I'm getting blamed for because I had the conversation with him, and he wasn't even invited onto the show. I like Who. He's my friend, but like he wasn't even supposed to be there. And all of a sudden he's popping in and like and then like yeah, old man's blaming me for the negativity because of the conversation I had with the guy. Well, I didn't bring him on, you know what I mean? And then old man Logan wasn't supposed to be there. I mean, he's the fucking host. He's always welcome. But like I didn't plan for any of that, right? It was just supposed to be a conversation like you and me are having with me, Avant, and Merchant. And so like I'm sure even Merchant was probably like, what the fuck's going on? Because like we told him how the show works, how it was going on. Yeah. I didn't tell him, hey, 4 people are just going to hop in, and I like to kind of make the guest feel the most time. Yeah. And then when there's 8 people just jumping on, like I said, Logan's the fucking, he's the leader of the show. So I didn't mind, but it was just very disorientated. And like you said a lot of things I said, I don't even really agree with a lot of things I was saying because I didn't have any good takes.
Well, we've had that discussion, right? You and I talked about this yesterday, and we rehashed because it got really heated, and we were talking about how like negativity is fine as long as there's like constructive parts to it, and I don't want to like have to rehash the extreme negativity that was happening with the show because I love the show, but I do want to talk about the whole dying game thing because I do understand where you're coming from. But I think what does happen with games like this is that when a hero collector gets older, it becomes a lot harder to convince people to play it, right? Because it's so advanced and people log in and they go, well, why would I want, I'll never catch up, And that happened, and that's one of the reasons why games like this are always destined to fail after a long time, because you can never pull in new players. This game actually was, and we've talked about this before here. This game was going to die. It was very close to dying. People don't realize that if you follow the money and the revenue, around 2019, revenue was very sharply dropping, month over month.
Was that? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Was that pre-Relics?
This was right around when Relics came out. And Relics are part of what brought the game back, but it's not what brings people to like start to buy into the game again. And there was another Star Wars game that had been in development for about a year, and if we look at the history of Star Wars games, only one lasts at any one time. Within 6 months of a new one coming out, the old one dies. But what happened was CG came up with a really great plan, and it worked beautifully as they started bringing in catch-up mechanics, right? The hyperdrive bundle was a super, super smart thing of them to do because it was a really cheap, and I say cheap in comparative to like what whales spent because you want to bring in new whales. It was a super cheap way for whales to come into the game and spend money on the game without having to spend thousands before they're convinced to play it. And I really do credit the hyperdrive bundle as being part of what saved this game, a huge part of what saved this game. And I think CG learned really, really well from that and did a lot after that point to start bringing in other catch-up mechanics. Some of them free, some of them paid for, right? Like double shards. They looked at revenue. They said, hey, we're not making money on these shards anymore. These are old characters. Nobody's spending towards these characters. Let's double them up, you know? And it increases some of the feeling of those gates that we have, so people might spend more on other things. But they did double shards. They did double core gear. The Lightspeed bundles, the reimagining the new player experience. These were all ways to build out an environment for new players to come in. And I think that the reason that a lot of other games fail is because they don't do that. They forget that when a game is 8 years old, nobody wants to play it anymore because they don't feel like they'll ever be able to catch up to you know, the people who have been playing for 8 years. And we are actually in a pretty healthy point in this game's overall health. Maybe not in terms of quality of life, but they have done a great job in that.
They're doing great.
Yeah, financially they are doing them. They're blowing it out of the water right now. They're doing awesome. They learned from that one thing, and I think it significantly changed the field for them.
So one thing, Bodie goes, this game has outlasted every content creator who says it's dying. Well, they're not going to outlast me, because no matter how shitty it is, my life revolves around this game. No matter how much I hate it or how negative I'm about it, I'm not going anywhere. I've said this 5 years ago. I'm going down with the ship. And that's what I do with every game that I dedicate to. If I'm going to dedicate my stuff to it, I'm going down with the ship. Now, if the ship's already down and it's still trying to keep its last breath, I might leave then. But we'll all be gone by that point. Well, not everyone, because some people will stay around. But, I agree with everything you said. The light side bundles are awesome. They've helped me tremendously. I'm at 10.6. I'd still probably be around 8 million if it wasn't for light side bundles.
Yeah.
Because I'd go for Lord Vader before I'd go for Rey. Not because of how good she is, just because that's just where they'd be at my priority list. So they've helped me catch up. Just like even I call it the shit Jedi pack. I mean, Plo Koon's good. Kit Fisto you could use somewhere. I like Plo Koon. I think he's underrated. But even that pack, I don't even know if we knew they were needed for the raid or not. But even then, I was like, I want that pack. Anything that takes someone to Relic and then more is so worth $20. You know.
Yeah. Well, I almost bought it, and I needed like 3 of those characters. I regret not buying it. I almost bit the bullet on that one. And I don't think we technically knew it was for the raid at that point, but because we knew Galactic Republic, it was like, yeah, this is. We were like, yeah, this is happening. But I'm not 100% sure on that.
But yeah, things like that. I think one of my biggest problems is I don't mind spending money in games. Well, I can't because I'm so broke, but used to, like when I had more of an income.
In theory.
If the game had packs that made sense and they were affordable for people like me, that's like five to like $20. I would buy them, and I have been at that point where I could do that in games. But Swugga didn't have that until the last year or two, maybe. Yeah, it's always been nothing but high tier Kraken whale. And when you go look at those packs, it's like, why are you guys paying for this? You know, I think you guys are just buying stuff to buy it because none of those packs ever looked worth anything. But they're doing better with that. So I think that's why they're doing better. They needed to realize that, you know, you have this let's say you have this $20 pack of these characters. If you get 100,000 people like me to buy that, that's more money than you're going to make from, you know, 1,000 people buying it. I could be wrong. The math could be wrong. But like 1,000 people buying $100 pack or a $50 pack or something. You know what I mean?
That is true to some extent. But the one thing you have to remember, I was on the event server having great ROI eating pine cones. I was on the event server yesterday having this same discussion with somebody. Why is this the battle meditation that's fucking me? I don't care. I'm just getting rid of them. And what it basically boiled down to is they were kind of saying the same thing. And what I don't think people realize is just and it's changing. The dynamic is changing a lot. But just how few people are willing to spend on a mobile game in general. This dynamic is shifting every year, and it's becoming much more accepted. The last time I looked into the numbers was in 2019, so we're talking outdated. But it was something like 5% of people have ever made a purchase in a mobile game. 5% of people who play mobile games.
Okay.
So that's a very small number. Now, again, we're talking 5 years later, and it was trending upwards. Maybe it's 10, maybe it's 20, maybe it's 30% now. But there are a lot of there is a negative connotation overall on mobile gaming where people go, and you see it on the Reddit, you see it on that vent server. You could offer people the world, and they just go, "Oh, it's not worth it. I could go to the movies with that money." And you're
Yeah.
right, but
Yeah.
most people can do both. Not everybody can, but most people
Yeah.
can do both. Like Kazgul on our Discord is always telling me you could buy a Steam game with that money. This is an awesome indie game that gave me 100 hours. And in my head, I go, I could just buy both. I
Yeah.
could buy my $10 Steam game and I can buy a pack. Like I'm okay. I won't, but I
Well,
can.
that gets in the territory. Well, I will like we give Logan shit um for spending so much money,
Yeah,
but I don't really care. I'm not sitting there looking down on him or turning my nose up at him. Some people do.
yeah,
There's those free to play purists where they're like, and what's sad is it used to be cool to be free to play, and for some reason in my eyes it's no longer that cool to me for you to be free to play. I look at it differently where like you're saying casuals like, well, you could go and I don't hide this. Like I don't have very much money at all. So I rely on streaming and just some side hustles. But and no, I'm not selling drugs or my body. Um but fuck, where was I going with that? But yeah, I look at the opposite where it's like, okay, this pack is $20 for these 5 relic characters. Just don't go out to eat 2 times this week or 2 times this month, and now you have this pack. That's the way I look at it. Instead of saying like what I could get,
Bones is
I
basically a boomer. What he's saying is if you don't buy your coffee every day, you can afford a house.
or as we all know on my channel, just feed your family and
Pine
yourself
cones.
pine cones for the next 5 months, and you too can have the great sisters.
Yeah, and it
So
comes down to, like Courier and Bodhi are both saying, I have this conversation a lot I actually had this conversation on Reddit this morning about other things. It was like YouTube. People are like, oh, you don't use ad block on YouTube, you're dumb. And I like try to explain to people, I'm like, I personally don't use an ad block. I don't use an ad block because I recognize that if every single person used an ad block, that our revenue models would change, right? So all of these websites that are ad supported and selling your data, every website's selling your data. But if we completely close off these channels to revenue, they're just gonna charge you money to use the website. And I don't want to use the website enough to pay for it. I'd rather support it with ads as long as it's not too incredibly intrusive. So
it's funny you say that because I get shit for that too. I don't know why. It doesn't bother me.
yeah,
I'm just used
as
to
long
ads
as they're
as
not
well.
too intrusive, I'll watch an ad. It's fine. It comes down to like when you when you go to those like cancerous websites that have 4,000 ads on them, and you go, oh my god, that's when it becomes a problem.
Sorry, I'm typing just a second. I don't want to
No,
type in your
you're good, man.
ear. I'll be right back soon.
Which one is the leader? Okay. Avocado toast is ruining the world. Yeah, and Cap, I am all about like supporting. I obviously I obviously right now I'm a little mad at CG, so I'm kind of on a spending freeze. But overall, I'm all about like putting a little support behind something, and obviously what people don't understand too is when they are using like their ad blocks or like they're getting around all this stuff. As much as YouTube benefits and Twitch benefits and all these other people, it also screws over the people like us who are already making pennies on the dollar putting out content. It's though at the same time you can always just Venmo me at Egnards. It's way better than
That's
subbing.
the real way to do it.
It's the best way to do it.
I try to do it that way, but I think people just rather sub.
I think that they do just because it's easier, right? It's the ease of doing things. But hey,
just so you guys know, if you're watching, it's better to just Venmo them or something, because what's the percentage we see from a sub on Twitch?
So I think you see 50% from a sub, and I actually just this morning enabled ads on my Twitch, but I put it down to the lowest possible. So literally 1 minute of ads an hour, which I know is already going to piss people off. And it brought my revenue share down from 50% to 30%. They were like, fuck you, like you don't want to show ads a lot, your revenue share is only 30%.
Oh shit. I'd rather do that.
Yeah, I put it down super low because I don't want to be intrusive to people either, but I also like I spend money to have this software, so being able to make that back at the very least is nice. And other than that, I don't do it for money. I do it because I do enjoy it. I do enjoy talking to you guys. I rarely have people on stream with me because we just figured out this way to do it with Mac, and I do enjoy having people on and being able to have these conversations and almost have like an impromptu Tales episode, which is like one of my favorite things to do.
I love it. I love talking to other content creators. I know we didn't really finish our conversation from earlier, but oh well, who cares?
That's the way the world works, man.
But I just want to say, like, the game isn't dying, people. I'm just saying they're doing things that if it wasn't a Star Wars IP, this game would be dead. If it didn't have the IP, I've seen games do exactly what this game does, and it would be dead. But that's all I have to say about that.
Being Star Wars definitely does help it. It does. But they did do the thing that they needed to do. Hey, Scribe. How's it going?
My man, Scribe, what up, brother?
I don't want to say he already yelled at me a few days ago for saying something to Moon. I know it's a joke though, but so I won't say it here. I don't want to
be nice to Moon, Scribe.
No. He's a good guy. He's a good guy.
No, I suck Scribe's dick every time he comes by my streams. Dude, you fucking killing the game, man. I keep, even when you're not around, I tell everyone how you're my favorite content creator right now.
Well, fuck you.
You're my second favorite.
You said that to me before.
I'm your mistress. I'm still your second, so fuck you.
Yeah, but you said you like it better that way. What did you say? You were like, I like the fact that you have to lie to Fat Phil and go behind his back to talk to me.
And it's less commitment on my part. What the fuck were we talking about past the dying game? You had a good point about something you were talking about, and I wanted to get into
it. Well, we were talking about I was talking about like revenue models and understanding how like if everybody's doing something, revenue models shift because everybody wants their piece of the pie, right? So if everybody's using an ad blocker, or everybody's using a this, or everybody's using a that, what ends up happening is YouTube goes, okay, well now it costs $10 a month if you even want to use our service. And then people get mad and go, it used to be free. Well, it used to be ad supported. It's not because you don't want it to be.
Yeah. I mean, I had a good point about something. I don't fucking remember. But unfortunately, the world is just every fucking thing is monetized.
Yes, and that does suck. I don't like these things. I just understand how it works is, I guess, what I should say.
And this isn't an answer anyone wants to hear, but you have to adjust to it, you know? That's not the best answer or the most helpful answer, but in the end, like, we only live so long, so you gotta deal with what you got, you know, the cards are dealt. But yeah, like Cap said, if you enjoy the game and you like playing it, there's no reason why you can't buy some packs. But like, I don't care how much I love a game. If the fucking packs suck and don't make any sense, I'm not gonna give you any money. So
Yeah.
that's why you were saying earlier, like they're doing a great job adjusting that, giving packs for the smaller players. And I think there's a proven method that you get a person to buy one pack, they're way more likely to buy
Yes,
another.
and yes.
And,
Once you break that, what's I said this a week. I'm repeating myself, but it's kind of like when you're drinking, right? And you break the seal, and
mhm.
it's once you break the seal, you have to pee every 10 minutes. It's the same exact thing. Once you break that seal on spending, people are like, "Well, I spent $10. 15's not that much more."
Yep, it's true. That's why I tell my swugga daddy all the time. Come on, man, you've already spent $5 on me. What's another 20? No big deal.
Scribe,
Um,
I'm actually a little annoyed at you with. I don't know if you've used those graphics yet. I know you sent it to me with the. So I don't want to ruin it for anybody, but based on them, when we did our Tales episode, I don't think you were drinking whiskey, and it was later in the day, and I'm a little annoyed that we didn't get to share a whiskey because I am a whiskey guy myself. So we're gonna have to do a round two of something at some point, and I'll open something special.
it says something when every swugga content creator is an alcoholic.
We all are. We all are alcoholics.
It shows you how what you need to get through the game. You got to be drunk
It's
for sure.
to some extent it's true. Um, oh,
Because I mean, Avant and Logan are drunk as fuck by the end of every Three Scoundrels. Um, I'm
I've
just
anytime I've
we're
been on
good.
Three Scoundrels during the school year, I walk into work the next day, and I don't. Nobody at work knows what I do. Nobody knows my side gig. Nobody knows that I do this, but they do know I have a side thing. So I'll walk in and I'll go, okay, guys, listen. I was on a podcast last night. No, I'm not going to tell you what it's called. And it went till 1 in the morning, and I'm really hungover. So I need you all to just expect less from me today.
What an awesome teacher. I wish you were
Yeah,
my
well, I
teacher.
don't tell that to the kids.
Oh, okay. Who do
No,
you say
no,
that to?
no. So last year I had 3 adults in my room. This year I think there's going to be 3 adults in the room again. So
Okay.
that's like what I will say to the other adults in the room.
Okay. I was like, wow, that's a lot to tell your kids.
No,
But
yeah.
I gotta do
Hey,
that.
hey, hey, kids. I'm hungover.
Please don't fucking talk to me.
No,
Put
don't
your
talk to
hand
me
down.
today. Hey,
Just,
Vash, how's it
just
going?
like the old days, you just bring in like the
The
big
TV.
screen
Yeah,
TV, just bring it in.
John Mulaney did that joke where he's like, "Oh, that's why the teacher brought in the TV."
I don't even know who that is, but
Oh, John
yes,
Mulaney.
that's why.
He's great. He's very funny. Very funny comedian.
Scribe says we have addicted personalities. That's why we can't stop playing. You, that's right on the head, man. You're not wrong.
It is. It's I get, and that's why I have to quit other mobile. I'll play them for 2 weeks because I get that itch, but then I have to quit because I'm like, no, this is taking up too much of my time, and I can't play it casually. And that stupid mobile game that I'm playing now, Top Heroes, I like within 2 days, I'm setting up a Discord for my guild, and I'm apparently an officer in the guild, and I'm like, how did this even happen? I
Yeah.
specifically didn't want this to happen. But every day I tell them, I'm like, listen, guys, I'm still not convinced I'm playing this long term, so don't expect too much from me because one day I'm just going to stop showing up.
I mean, I'm surprised you said that you're starting another game. I saw you say it the other day.
Well, what I
I'm,
do is
I'm surprised.
I get this itch to play something new, and then I give it up after 2 weeks. And it's a cycle I go through where I know I'm not playing it long term, but I just have to play something different. I have to
So
feel
something
accomplished.
I'm the same way. I enjoy mobile games. They're easy to access. You can play them as long as you want. Well, not necessarily as long as you want, but you know what I'm trying to say. I'm
Yes.
a little sad about like the lack of diversity in games, and I'm not talking DEI. I'm talking about like fun, like
Hmm.
original ideas. They're
Yeah,
all
they're all the
just
same. Every game is a clone of another game.
yeah, clone, clone, clone. Like someone came up with an original idea, and then there's fucking a trillion clones after that. So I wish there's a fun one that's kind of original that would come out. Um, That's all I really want to say about that. I do the same thing. I try out. They'll look awesome. And I'll download it. And like some of these games, I'll see advertised. The gameplay is fake. I don't know
Oh
if you know
yeah,
what I'm
that's
talking about.
every ad on you on Instagram, on YouTube, on it's
Facebook.
always you
Yeah.
go, oh, I want to play that game, and then you play it, and you're like, oh, this is not the game that was advertised to me.
It'll look like an action shooter RPG or something. You download it, it's like a puzzle game or something, and I'm like, what the fuck? This is not what.
I want to play the
And
game where you're like a guy and you go through those. Of course, I want to play this game because of math, but like
I
you
was
go through
just about
games
to
and
talk about this game.
it's like the +5, like the
I already know
-2,
what you're
the
talking about.
×2.
Yeah. So is that really a game? Because I feel like when you download it, it's not the
It's
real
never
thing.
the same game.
So is there a game like that though? Because I've wanted to try playing that.
I have seen some people will say like, "Oh, this game does have that," but once you get past the tutorial, like it's only the tutorial, and you go, "Oh,
Okay.
well, I'm not playing that then."
What about so that's one of the most popular ones, but there's one other one. I know you've seen it. It's very strange, and they're kind of like shockwave looking characters, and they're
Okay.
like waiting in a line, and there's like this succubus that's like sticking him in his vagina. It's always very sexual and strange. Like
And
it's
then
very weird.
I know the
Uh,
exact ad you're talking about. I
and
know
like
the
they're just
exact
waiting in
ad you're talking
line.
about.
Yeah, and there's
And then
like
it
different
kills
ones.
them, and then it drops them into a different world, and you're like, "Oh, I want to play that." And then you go to look at the actual game, and you're like, "This looks nothing like that. Where's my succubus vagina?"
Yeah, I'm here for the succubus vagina, guys. Have you ever watched American Gods?
No, I know this. I know what it is, but I haven't. I haven't seen it.
So spectacular show. It's Neil Gaiman. He's done Sandman,
Yeah.
Bad Omens. He does a lot of stuff. Very good, very good show. I think they actually canceled it after like 3 or 4 seasons, which made me really sad. But so what the premise is like imagine like Greek gods,
Yeah.
but like the idea in modern day. So like media is a god, and so there's old gods like Greek gods, and there's new ones. And it's kind of like the old gods versus the new gods.
Okay.
So it's very cool premise, very neat, really cool show. But one of them, I don't know if she's the god of love or what, but she's this hot black chick, and whenever she does somebody, she swallows them into her vagina. That's like their sacrifice to her or whatever. It's very interesting. Check it out.
I have such a backlog of shows that need to be watched. And again, like I said this yesterday, I did this whole rant on Netflix, and then I went upstairs and my wife was like, I heard you got really heated about Netflix. But I have to finish this last season of Cobra Kai before I get rid of my Netflix subscription.
So sum up your rant, because I heard you talking about that, but what were you ranting
It's just
about?
the pricing is getting out of control with things,
Oh,
and
okay.
they grandfathered me into the old pricing because I switched before they changed things, and now they're like, oh, now you have to pay the $20 a month, and I'm like, I don't. I watch Netflix to watch Love Is Blind, and I watch Netflix to watch Gilmore Girls reruns. Like I'm not paying for this because it's not worth it.
It's just used to entertainment was exactly what it is. Now it's just like how much can we scam you?
Yeah, and listen, don't get me
It's
wrong.
weird.
When it comes to streaming, I understand that they were selling it to us at a loss and trying to build up subscriber bases. So I understand that they need to make money now. I actually
It's the
don't.
same idea. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but it's the same idea that we just talked about with mobile games. Be
Yes.
friendly, get you in, but continue what you're saying.
No, but you're all right. It is. I actually used the wrong team. This is going to annoy me. Hopefully nobody dies. But what it comes down to is I don't mind paying $20 a month, but now that streaming is so all over the place, I'm not paying $20 a month to every network. Like
Yeah.
I already pay for Disney, I already pay for Hulu. I steal Max from a friend, so I don't pay for Max. But like we pay for Paramount, we pay for Peacock. Like I don't have the money in my budget to, and something has to give. So I think Netflix is going to go the way of the streaming services that I only pay for one month out of the year. You know, where you go, oh, 5 new shows came out, let me binge them in a month, and then I'm canceling it again.
Yeah, and then they figured it out. Where remember, used to Netflix would release everything at once when a show came out, and you would just
Yeah,
binge it. But why do that when they can? Let's just say 8 episodes. Well, that's one more month. If you
it
if they
is
let
another
you,
month. Yeah.
if they let you binge it, that's one month that you. But if they spread it out over 2 months, well, they just doubled their
If you
money.
want to watch it right away, yes, you'll have
Yeah,
to
yeah,
wait.
but you're right, dude. It's getting ridiculous, and my wife, she doesn't play video games. She does her thing, but she just likes to watch television. So I'm sick of this. There's just too many streaming services, and they're all too expensive. And what is really bothering me is sometimes you shouldn't subscribe to something because of their library, anyways, because you could just go buy a DVD of it and watch it
Yeah.
forever. But I'm kind of in that thing where it's like, okay, this has a great library. I can watch it. But now let's say like Lord of the Rings or Harry Potter. It's like I can go watch it anytime I want on HBO. But now they're starting to like move movies are like, I don't know if their rights run out on a streaming service, so they
That's what
move that
happens is the rights run
franchise
out.
over. And that's driving me crazy. So it's getting to the point where I kind of want to just go get a DVD player and start buying DVDs again. And the only real reason you need to subscribe to anything is for that new show you want to watch.
Yeah,
Which
I'm glad. I prefer streaming. I don't like stuff. I'm not a materialistic person for the most part. So like when streaming started coming out, I was like, great, I can sell my DVDs. I hate having them in the house. I hate needing like a bookcase for them. And I know that
yeah,
other people don't mind that. I really do like streaming, and a few people are in chat are saying like Bendis, who I love, and I didn't say hi to you, man, but I'm glad you're able to catch this morning. I do agree. Netflix is probably one of the ones that is going to survive, but right now it's one that I'm not using. I'm using
yeah,
other things. So I do agree, and it's sad that I want to cancel my Netflix because I have literally been a Netflix subscriber since 2008, completely uninterrupted the entire time. And I would not mind. Hey, Lysol man, thanks for the raid, buddy. How's it going?
what's up,
Um,
Lysol? Welcome everybody.
Man, he's always making me lose my train of thought.
We're just talking about
No,
Netflix.
so I wouldn't mind the $20 a month if I were using it more. 10 years ago, I would have paid Netflix $20 a month because I was using it every day for everything. But because things are so compartmentalized now, last night we were watching Max because we were watching House of Dragons. Tonight we're going to be watching Max because we have the other episode of House of Dragons. Then we're going to be
90 Day
watching
Fiance.
90
Don't they
Day
have 90 Day
Fiance
Fiance?
on
Yeah,
Peacock, on Discovery.
yeah.
So by the time I'm
It's
watching Netflix, it's literally just to watch Gilmore Girls reruns when we're too tired to watch anything that we care about.
yeah, yeah. It's a little overwhelming now. I wish. I guess it's not that big of a deal because I agree with you about streaming. I went and sold my entire DVD
Library.
collection library, and I regret that now because some people can afford doing it. I'm to the point now where I can't really afford it.
Yeah.
Every streaming service I want, so we have to pick and choose as well. We can do about maybe 2 or 3 of them a month. If
I
and
can't
we
check on Discord right now because you're on a Discord source. So I can't even, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to do it anyway,
you're
and
fine.
your head
Yeah.
is going to disappear.
I'm sorry, guys. You
Your
can't
head's
look at
going to
my
disappear for a minute
my
because
bright red face.
I don't care. I just don't care. Uh, I don't remember who does accuracy up, and Moonboard did all of these lovely graphics, and they fit kind of nicely. I think a little bit. They fit kind of nicely there. That's Sector 1, Sector 2, Sector
What are these?
3.
What are these
Accuracy.
graphics?
These Moonboard did graphics on my Conquest guide, which is great because I forget what I said, and then I can look at them and go, "Oh, right, that's what I did." All right, so I need to use Seer.
But,
Seer is the way to go,
oh damn! I need some of these.
dude. They're on our Discord, man.
Okay.
You got to get with the
I try to
times.
stay away from you guys as much as I can.
We pull you back in every single time.
Actually, I'm more engaged than I ever have been. Used to, I would like go look at the general chat, and I'm like 7,000 messages behind. Now I'm starting to catch up. I just check back.
You know that you don't have to read every little thing that is.
Well, I want to know
moving,
what's being. I want to know what's
moving your
being
head
talked
around.
about. So I got to. I have to.
Just gonna move your head around, and then we're gonna get Seer into because she does that on a basic, which is really really nice. So let's get her in a JML team.
What's the feat you're trying to do?
I just want to make some progress on accuracy up,
And
and
Seer does it.
Seer does it. Yeah.
I'm right around where you are. I'm in sector 3 somewhere.
So if we do, I don't know, let's do Revan. This might not work because they're at a lower. Yeah, man. That's why we make our Discord work, and that's why people are there. You know, we started as just another content creator Discord, and I decided if we were going to do it, we had to do it in a smart way that made it worth doing. So that's why we have such a big community in such a small amount of time. Weird.
I like making new friends in the game.
Yeah, I
Whether you're
love
a
talking to
content
people.
creator. Yeah.
You know, like
Because
when people are from around this area and they're like, "Hey, I'm gonna be here." I'm like, "Yeah, let's go get a beer." Love doing it.
there's a lot. Strangely, there's a lot of us in the same like area. I don't mean it like we can just drive to each other's houses, but like we're all on the same side of the country.
Vicinity, yeah.
Yeah, I really want to someday have a meet and greet somewhere, meet up somewhere in a bar or something with people. Um, how I would make that work, I have no fucking clue. But
You're just gonna have to make it rich on your streamer money.
I will, or just lottery. I'm relying on lottery to make me rich.
That's fair.
If you
Nothing
don't
wrong with
play,
it.
you don't win, baby.
It's stacks on stupid tax on stupid people.
No, I
Right?
don't play the lottery. Sometimes I'll play like when it's really high. I'll go buy a ticket. But dude, there's those people that was like when you're waiting in line and they'll scratch their tickets in the front of the
Yes.
line, and you're just like,
And they just sit
can
there
you
all
move?
day. I've
Can you
been
move
places
over?
like that.
Can you just move over, please? Like we're trying to like they don't care. They need their fix. That's their fix, right? That's their swugga fix. But we were talking about apps though. So I had this great idea, and I don't know if it's legality reasons or what. But why isn't there a one app that has every streaming service? You still have to subscribe to them, but when you do, all the content you just add whatever service you're subscribed to, and it just puts all the content in one app.
So I
I don't
think
know if that's
actually I don't use this, but I think Apple actually kind of does that. I remember being at my brother's house and he was able to look up content just through his Apple TV and it would show up and it would be like, "Oh, this is on Netflix." So when you click on it, it would load up Netflix for him. I don't know how that
no
works. I'm
shit.
not I don't use that stuff as I'm not as tech savvy as he is, which is ironic because he's 10 years
Yeah.
older than me. Um, but that is to some extent something that can happen.
I'll have to look at that. I think I have an Apple TV. Whenever I got my internet when I first moved here, I think I have one. Like is it a black box?
Yeah, it's like a
And
little
you have
black box.
the controller's weird because it like it's touch with your thumb.
It is,
So
and
if
I
you
don't
just
like the controller, but you can also use your phone if you have an Apple phone, and maybe there's an app otherwise for other phones. But
I'll have to look into
I
that.
do
Then.
like it because I don't like smart TVs, so I have an Apple TV hooked up in my upstairs, in our bedroom TV, and even my
You don't
downstairs
like
TV.
smart TVs?
Don't like
Why
smart
do you like
TVs.
smart TVs? Why?
Because no, it's a real thing. So smart TVs, what they do is once you log them into the internet, they constantly like update, and then 3 years later, it's bogged down with so much in the background that your TV is running slow as shit.
Okay.
I hate smart TVs.
I never knew that.
So
Okay.
like we just bought a smart TV for our living room because now we're football people, and as football people now we had to get a bigger TV. And I don't have it set up to the internet. I just have it set up to our PS5. And I don't let it on the internet. I don't let it access it. I have it everything locked down so it can't like get a phantom read on it.
That's
I
funny.
don't let it do that.
That's funny. Havori says he does the same.
Yeah.
I
I
never heard of
would
that before.
love. My old TV was a Spectre, and Spectre is one of the only makers that still makes dumb TVs. But I couldn't find a a dumb TV in the size that I wanted, so I had to buy a Sony, and I just locked it down.
Hmm. Yeah, I'll have to try that with the Apple TV because I have one, but I don't use it. So we have smart TVs, so I don't need to use it.
And most people do.
Um,
And they subsidize those that they're so cheap because like they send you ads and like they take your data and they make money in all these other ways. And I'm like, no, I will absolutely not allow that to happen.
I don't like. I get why they try to get your data, but at the same time, like, why are they getting our data? Just know that what we like to watch, or is it more?
Well, they can sell your data. Look, I'm not in advertising, but if they have data on you, you know, for like your demographic, then they can sell that to other companies that might find that to be more valuable, and they can sell that to their advertisers so they know what ads to send to you to be more effective towards you. And
Eh,
I'm not necessarily against that in theory because I do understand that it does subsidize the cost of a lot of things. But when it comes to my TV, and it comes to my TV working well, I don't want to deal with that. So I locked that shit down. I just bought a beautiful like 70-inch Sony just so that I could watch football on
oh,
it because now I'm a football person, and I just made sure I can't do anything.
I so wish I could go come over and watch you guys play the Chiefs 2 times a year.
You know what's funny? One of the reasons I turned to my wife a month ago when we bought them, and I said, "Hey, you know, our buddy who just moved in like 3 blocks down from us, he has a huge TV. I don't want to be forced to go to his house every Sunday because he's going to invite us over every Sunday. I
Yeah.
want to be able to sit on my own ass in my own on my own TV on my own couch half the time. So I need a TV that's worth saying, okay, no, you come over, you know. And I think that that was our entire motivation for doing it.
It's just the best time of the year. I'm glad that even though you're a little late to the game, I'm glad you're getting into football, man. I'm
Oh,
so excited for this.
we bought tickets to the Broncos versus the Jets. We're excited to go. Um, we'll
I'm,
see how our quarterback is this year, but we're
that's
excited to
probably the
go.
right team. That's probably the right team to pick against. Like that's probably
Yeah.
the one you should go watch.
Well, it's local for us, you know, so it's not
Oh
that far.
yeah, yeah. See, I need to do the same thing. Yeah, obviously spending reasons, but um, my wife's never. She's a new football fan as well. Like in Kansas, Missouri, like pretty much people say God in football, right? Like
Yeah.
it's a religion down there. It's football. But she never really got into it till she met me, and so I wanted her to go to a game sometime. So the Chiefs, they're always playing Jacksonville, which is about 3.5 hours from us. Miami's
So
quite a ways.
there's a game that I go to every year. Before I liked football, I would go. It was this big charity tailgate. I didn't know the guy, but a friend of mine knew him very well. This one guy passed away in his 20s. I don't know the situation. They hold this huge charity tailgate. It costs about $100, and you get a ticket to the game, like 120. You get a ticket to the game in an okay section, but they like get a pig roast. They get kegs. They get like bottles of liquor. It takes up like two full rows of parking. They bring in like party buses, and I go every year, and it's almost always the Jets versus the Bills. And every year it would be me, and my buddy's wife would be just like sitting in the chairs or like walking around, not caring about the game.
Hmm.
Just trying to kill time, buying Dunkin' Donuts, buying food, like waiting till her husband got bored and we go home. And we just like yell out, you know, like sports, sports, sports. And she's really mad at me this year. She's like, "You motherfucker. Like now I have to go to these games and like you're gonna actually care about what's going on.
Dude, it's fun, especially going live. They're so fun. They're so fun.
No, I think I'm gonna
Um,
enjoy it more now that I'm kind of into it.
so have you ever went inside the stadium and watched a game yet?
Yeah, no, I went in, but I didn't really pay attention to it. So this will be my
Okay.
first game going to as a fan.
Hopefully
Last,
they win
I hope
because
so.
when you go and your team wins live,
Yeah, feels good.
it's it's like okay, it's like having a artist you love but you've never seen live and
Okay.
you've listened to him for years, and you go watch him live. It doesn't just make you enjoy their music like tenfold almost. Like it just
Yeah, I
it,
love going live. I like live music better. And I don't know, Bendis actually is a DJ, and I don't know if he agrees with me or not on this, and it would be interesting to hear his take too. But I love live music because it's imperfect. I don't really like
yes,
stadium music. I love hearing like the imperfections in the voice. I like when the
yes.
artists like change the lines a little bit or make it more like whatever's going on in the world right now. I love when they tell their stories. Like I love that shit. So I'm not really a musical person, but I love live music.
So it's kind of the same thing with that. Like you'll enjoy football more after going and watching your favorite team.
Yeah.
Hopefully, you get a
Hopefully.
lot better experience than watching them get their ass kicked. Because I've had those many years when the Chiefs sucked. They're not that fun. You more go home sad than you do it, how great it was. But once you get that experience and everyone's cheering together and you're actually paying attention to the game, because there's a lot of drama in a football game, or there can
Yeah.
be, if it's a good game. So to get experience that live is really cool. But talking about music, dude, I hate you just know when someone's lip syncing. Like I
Yeah.
hate it when you sound perfect and it sounds exactly like the recording I've heard 1,000 times on your CD. I hate that. I
Yeah, that's
like
the
you said.
thing. I don't want it
Love
to
hearing
sound perfect. That's not why I'm going to see this. Why not why I'm going to see it. Like I love hearing those imperfections.
Yeah, same. Yeah, and like even if I'm not live, I'll watch like a live performance, and I'm like, this guy is lip syncing. Like, why are we watching this? Like, I'll just go put the song on. I hate
Yeah, I
that.
can just do.
Um,
Yeah, I
I
mean, I
don't
get
get the
it though.
point.
So like you talk about like certain things like with arena tours. I was reading something on Reddit recently about a lot of arena music and like the lip syncing and like just sometimes it's impossible to not lip sync because of the way that the song is set up. And you have to have like these different tracks going on and they lip sync because of certain things. And I'm not an expert. It is, what it is. Um, but I get it in some situations, and I know like the Super Bowl, they basically force them to lip sync. Um,
Yeah, yeah, and like I think every genre is a little bit different. Like, I do listen to a lot of. I don't when I say a lot of rap, not the shitty mumble rap. There's good rappers still out there. I'm more into the independent kind of stuff, but I feel like sometimes like they'll just let the hook play, but then
yeah.
like they'll rap their rap parts. So
Hmm.
like that's I'm fine with that. I get that because not all of them are singers or whatever. But like if you're a rock band, like I want to hear your fucking guitars. I want to hear a different riff than maybe that wasn't on there. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I want to
I
hear
want like that solo or something weird or strange that you're not going to hear otherwise.
so if you're a band, like I want that whole experience. I get like if you're just a single artist, but like if you're gonna go watch a pop star, you're probably gonna get lip syncing. I'm just gonna. And what's sad is those are the ones who are the most popular who fill the biggest arenas, and you're probably not getting
But if you go to a
much.
pop star, it is also a little bit different. So like we went to Eras tour. My wife, I'm a Swiftie too. I like Taylor Swift, but she's like a
I don't think
Swiftie.
she. I don't think she lip syncs, does she?
I think in
Because
some parts she has to again because of certain
okay,
like the way that songs are set up.
right.
But what I and I we saw when we first started dating, we saw the Reputation tour, and then we just saw the Eras tour when it came over here. I personally thought the showmanship in the Reputation tour was way better. Um, but when you go to like a pop concert, generally you're going either because you're a teenage girl, or because you're a 30-year-old white girl like my wife, um, or you're going
Or
for
a
the piano,
40
or a
or a
dad.
40-year-old Chiefs fan to go see Travis Kelsey pop up on stage one time. That's where I'm at with the Swifties.
Or you're going for the theatrics. Like they are cool shows to watch a lot of the times.
Yeah. Well, hers is more theatrical. I mean, I've been to some where they're just dancing on stage.
Yeah.
Like, I'm proud to say that. How old was I? I was not very old. I want to say I was 9, but I might have been older. But when Britney Spears first came out, her very, very first tour, when "Oops, I Did It Again" was just the biggest thing. My uncle was dating not a stripper, but like an actual professional dancer from England, and they were supposed to go, but like she couldn't make it to America or whatever, so he took me. Okay. So yeah, I saw Britney Spears at her peak.
Oops, I did it again.
Yeah, but that's the only pop concert I've ever been to. But the thing with pop stars, like they're dancing around like fucking crazy. Yeah. And if you listen, like you don't hear them taking breaths or panting or anything. You know what I mean? And so you probably wouldn't want to hear that. But if they're fucking dancing around like crazy, like Beyonce and all these other ones, they probably are lip syncing.
I think it is a different beast.
How could you fucking sing and just be doing all this crazy dancing? So I get that. I get that for sure. I haven't been to a concert in a long time.
We went to a few last year. We did Taylor Swift, and then we went to go see Harry Styles, but we made the mistake of going to our favorite bar in the city first, and getting a little bit drunk, and then also popping a gummy. And so...
That's the way to go, man.
It was a really interesting experience.
I went and saw Blink-182 one time, and there was some awesome, like, rock band that opened up for them. I was so fucked up. Like, because you couldn't bring anything in, and we had a huge bottle of some kind of whiskey, and we just were chugging it.
Oh, yeah.
On our, like, right before we went in. It was so fun. But Blink-182, one of my all-time favorite bands, one of the worst live bands you'll ever see. They're cool. They make up for
them in Florida. Funny enough.
Did you?
I saw them. We went to Ybor City for my bachelor party, and Blink-182 was playing with some rapper. Who was it? They did a collaborative tour. It was Blink-182 and it wasn't Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg's too big for that. But it was some
what year was it? I'll look it up.
Lil Wayne. No, it was Lil Wayne. It was Lil Wayne. It was definitely Lil Wayne. But we went to the show. Lil Wayne dropped out of that show last minute.
That sucks.
And it was an alright show, but yeah, it wasn't great or anything.
But you can just. I think the more artificial you make your songs in the studio, it's going to be harder for you to do live.
Yes,
I just think that must be what they do. Unfortunately, but they were cool. Like they interacted with the crowd a lot. Like you said, they'd tell stories and stuff. So I wasn't disappointed, but I was just like, and someone warned me before I go, we've seen them. They're not very good live, and I was like, that can't be true. But still, it was fun. I mostly do I enjoy the independence. I listen to more independent music that's not mainstream because I really I think that's where the quality music comes from these days. And it doesn't mean there's not quality mainstream, but also they do clubs. So when you go to the clubs, it's way more intimate.
Yeah.
I love the club scene, man. For a concert, those are so fun.
When I saw Blink, it was, I don't know the name of the arena, but it was a really small outdoor place, and it was almost entirely general seating on a lawn, and it was pretty small. That part of it was cool.
Those are my favorite, yeah, because you just get a little bit closer. But I see these fucking, cause I like heavy metal, I'm a rock guy,
yeah,
and you see these fucking festivals, and they're people a mile back. And I'm like, what's the point being? You can't even see the people on stage.
It's just listen to the music at home.
Yeah. And I've done it. I went to Ozfest. Ozfest was free one time. I stubbed my toe. So there's this one band I wanted to see. They were a one-hit wonder. Come to find out later on because they never made another hit. But I wanted to go see them, and they're on a second stage. And as soon as their famous song hit, immediately a huge mosh pit formed around me, and I'm getting shoved around without wanting to be in it. And my shoe falls off. My shoe falls off, so I'm chasing the shoe while I'm getting pushed around, and my foot is bare, so I stubbed my toe. like so bad, like there was flesh. It was horrible, and it hurt so bad. And that's pretty much the story. But that was fucking crazy. Like I finally got my shoe. I got the fuck out of there. I limped for like weeks afterwards because my toe was so fucked up. But yeah, I saw one of my favorite ones was Corey Taylor from Slipknot.
Yeah.
Like outside of Slipknot, he doesn't really script. Like he has Stone Sour. They're just kind of like a generic rock band. They're really good, but he doesn't really outside of Slipknot. He just makes like generic rock music. But he was touring by himself, and he just did. It was just him and his guitar. He didn't even have a band or anything with him, and he was doing the club scene. So it was pretty.
Which
I was
like.
right there.
One of my favorite
really cool.
bands. I haven't listened to them recently. I know they put out some stuff recently. Not really mainstream, but they've done some movie stuff, some video game stuff. Is Ra, which is like this Egyptian influence rock band from around 2005 to 2009 or so would probably be their peak.
Sounds kind of cool. I love Egyptian noises. You know what I mean?
Their first two albums are straight up fire. Duality and From One. And I think they did an album pretty recently. I haven't listened to it because they've changed their sound a lot. Not to be more mainstream, just not to something that I'm a big fan of. But I saw them like in a bar, in Boston. We drove 4 hours. We went to see them in a bar. And we saw like the even smaller openers, and we got to chat with them for like 5 minutes, and they were like, "What the fuck? Why'd you drive like 5 hours for us? Like who would even do that?" And it was just like a cool experience. It's a formative experience from almost, like 15 years ago now, but I still remember it as like being a really, really cool night.
And what's cool is, however you do it, hearing about an artist that's not very big, and then like several years later they're huge. Have you ever done that with a band or an artist?
I know the like phenomenon you're talking about, but it hasn't happened in like my case, I guess. Well, like Green Day was commercially successful when I started listening to them, but it exploded, right? Like it's like beyond exploded way after that.
Yeah, like I've done it with a lot of rappers. I'm that kid in high school that like burnt CDs, and I showed you what the new stuff was out that no one's listening to or hadn't come out yet. Remember Riding Dirty?
Yeah,
Catch Me Riding Dirty. I love that guy. He was an underground rapper from Houston, a Chameleonaire, and I listened to him for years. And no one really knew who he was. I'd try to show people, and they'd be like, "Yeah, whatever, dude." And then that might have been around the LimeWire days. Maybe that was after. That might have been quite a ways after. I don't remember when that was. But somehow I copped the album early. It got leaked a week early. Mm-hmm. So me and my buddies were listening to it, and we listened to Riding Dirty. Like that was one of our favorite songs on the album. And then, dude, when that album launched, that was the biggest song of the fucking year. I think he won a Grammy for it. And, like, it played so much, like, I hate that song now. Like, I have a toy. I have, like, a graduation toy that plays it.
It's what's that song? Is it Coldplay? Viva La Vida. The song is great, but it played 10 times an hour on every radio station that you're just like, it's not special anymore. This is shit. Stop playing this. I'm done.
And the psychological thing that that those radio stations do, it's like the song could suck, but if we play it fucking 5 times an hour, it's going to be so ingrained into your brain
that you just go, oh, I want to sing it, and whatever else.
The fucking Pharrell song, I'm happy. That song does not make me happy.
Do you see that they're doing like a biopic of him in Lego form? Which looks really strange. I saw the trailers for it. I'm like, I don't
What a strange person to pick.
The Lego dynamic, but okay.
That's just a weird person to pick to make a Lego movie over.
White and nerdy, Bendis. That's my first thing that I think about is white and nerdy.
White and nerdy, yep.
White and nerdy.
That's how big it was. The fact that Weird Al does a song after you, that means you're pretty big. I think he's coming out with a new album.
Is he?
Actually,
I haven't heard any of his newer stuff, but I love Weird Al.
So you know how he does like a polka like
Yes.
mashup
Hmm.
every album.
He did
He
one for
just released
Hamilton,
one.
which was great, by the way.
I haven't followed him much.
He did a
Like
Hamilton one. It was awesome.
but somebody in my stream showed me that he just released one a few weeks ago, and I think maybe "Shake It Off" is the last one he does. He does a couple of Taylor Swift ones, so you might have to check it out. I don't know what it's
My
called,
yeah, I'll have to check it out when my wife gets home.
but it has a video to it, and it's like a cartoon. And at the very end, it's got Taylor Swift, Travis Kelsey. So I was like, all right, I'm in. This was cool. Um, you can call me a Swifty, but I don't know any of the trivia.
Any of the
I mean,
well, I don't know any of the trivia. That's why I'm like Swifty curious. Like I like the music,
right.
but like my wife will be like, "Did you see that Travis Kelsey did a this and that?" And I'm like, "No,
Okay,
no, I
it's
didn't."
getting ridiculous. Like they're like, it keeps saying breaking news is what it says on my Facebook. Breaking news: Travis Kelsey shows up for a show. They've been together for over a year
Of
now. Of
course they
course
do.
he's there. It's not breaking news anymore. At
I
first, yes, it was really crazy, but
I do actually want to see the Weird Al movie. I don't have it. I know it's on Roku TV. I'm gonna have to just download it. I have a HDMI hooked up to my TV in the back that is specifically for plugging my laptop in.
it's specifically for Weird Al
Yeah,
media.
so like we were
Hmm.
watching like Secession on it before we got Max from a friend. I'll have to like find the Weird Al movie because I heard Daniel Radcliffe did a really nice job in it. He was just on Broadway. We just saw him in something. I don't remember what it was called. He does a lot. I love Daniel Radcliffe because I think that he does being a celebrity the right way. He's
Yeah.
like, I have fuck you Harry Potter money. So I'm just gonna do the things that I want to do that sound fun to me. Like I don't care if they're commercially successful. I just want to do what is interesting. I love Daniel Radcliffe. Like
Me
he
too.
is just like he is
Me too.
great.
Yeah, but you're right. He does a lot of. Do you remember where he plays a dead body?
I didn't see that, but yes, yes,
I never. It looked terrible. I'm going to be honest. I
I
never
didn't
watched it.
see it.
It might be. It might be good. And there's another guy. The other guy that plays it, and I know him too. He's in a lot of stuff. I don't know his name, but I was
Uh,
like, "What the fuck is this?" But yeah, I love Daniel Radcliffe as
And
well.
Daniel Radcliffe is jacked, but that's because like he's smart. He replaced alcohol with going to the gym. He's like, I don't need this stuff anymore. It's not doing what it needs to be doing for me. And now he just works out anytime he wants to have that whiskey. And if I did
I,
that, I'd be in much better shape, and my OnlyFans would take off.
fuck him. Go to my Only Bones.
Yeah,
We're
my own.
collaborating over there after this.
I don't know if only Bones has a like. That's like hardcore. Right? That's not even like softcore stuff. That's going
There's
straight.
only Bones there. There's nothing else.
There's only Bones.
We could do a collab. I think only Bones will
Only
work.
I'm only Bones. I told you I never lose in gay chicken, man.
um,
That's just that's how it works.
God damn it! I had something to talk. What were we just talking about?
Daniel Radcliffe.
Yeah. Oh, it's cool that he didn't fall underneath like the childhood
Yeah.
curse. It's good that he got out of it because like sometimes this isn't necessarily with kids, but sometimes people do such a. I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about another person in Harry Potter and other stuff too. But sometimes a person will play a villain so well
Oh
that they
yeah.
can't get
Hmm.
from underneath that. And what's
Well,
his
it's
name
like
from Harry Potter?
that
Fell underneath
you're
that
talking
curse.
about the Slytherin kid from Harry Potter, Draco Malfoy,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yep.
But then you're also talking about like the guy who played Joffrey in Game of Thrones. Like he was getting death threats from people, and he's
Yeah,
like,
I
"You
was
do
going.
know I'm an actor, right? Like I'm not really Joffrey Baratheon."
Yeah,
Tom
but
Felton.
he's the second one that comes to mind as well. I feel like there's a third person that is famous for that. But yeah, it's cool that Daniel Radcliffe kept going because even like fucking even Stevens,
Oh,
what's his name?
the his name I don't know. I only know Christy Carlson Romano for obvious reason.
Fucking
Oh,
he also
Shia
did
LaBeouf. Shia
Holes.
LaBeouf.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
like not underneath that curse, but it kind of is at the same time because he went on to do stuff, but it still is kind of has like a controversial career thing going on.
Well, he's had to figure his shit out. I think he's mostly figured his shit out, but like it's the same thing like Miley Cyrus. You look at Miley Cyrus and she went off the rocker, but then you find out about everything she had to deal with, and it's just that rebellious phase that everybody has to go through. And now, a completely different person because she dealt with it and she figured it out. So I get it. It's just we all do that. We just don't have to do it in the public eye, and we don't have fuck you money to spend on whatever we want.
What's cool is I saw also a childhood store. She did it's not store, a star. The redheaded did she was all in the spotlight many years ago. She did where she trades places with her sister.
Oh, Lindsay Lohan.
Yeah, like she was very, she kind of went off the rocker, but I saw that she's doing really good now too.
She's been doing better, but then you look at like an Amanda Bynes, who's completely off. The girl from Matilda,
or the guy from
did it right. I mean, she did really well for herself. She got out of acting. She went into writing. I actually didn't realize that she ran for Congress, but
I didn't know
she's supposed to be a very well-adjusted person.
I haven't heard anything about her. That's interesting. I had another one on my mind. Like the guy from fucking The Sandlot, the Mexican-looking guy. Like that dude. I don't know what happened to him, but he's like a crackhead or something now.
Spotlight hits some people different. So Bones, I finished all my game stuff. It's an hour and a half until TB3, so I might do that tomorrow morning. I wanted to do some reviews. I have 3 reviews up here, but my laptop is like, it's like, fuck you. You can't be running all of these sources and expect me to go fast enough to keep up with that stuff.
You want me to get off and you just do your reviews?
No. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do them tomorrow, right?
Okay.
But the reason I'm kind of doing something that my work wife is really bad at, Fat Phil is not great at cutting the cord, and I tell him that every day, and I told him that publicly. So I don't have a problem calling him out. He'll laugh about it if he even watches this. I'll do them tomorrow, even though I told them I would do it yesterday. I wanted to thank you for coming on and joining me early because I know it doesn't fit your schedule. For those that don't know Bonez, he's on Three Scoundrels, which I seem to guest spot on every other week.
Egnards is our 4th scoundrel.
The 4th scoundrel. You have the Huts Hangout, which is like your Australian version of the Three Scoundrels. And I would love to guest spot, but unfortunately you start right as I start working. So maybe one day that I have a Saturday off, maybe on like a holiday weekend if you guys do them on holidays.
It's really fun. Yeah, it's like an international version of Three Scoundrels. It's a different vibe too, like same kind of shit talking vibe, but it's fun for sure.
And then you have you've been doing a lot of Elden Ring with Baroness lately, and I like to pop into those streams and just give you shit for 10 minutes before I go to work. Or I'll be like cleaning at work and just pop, not even paying attention. I'm just like, I'm gonna give Bonez shit for 15 minutes. But he's a fun guy.
I think it's a good content. It's a good game to stream because you just watch people get their fucking ass beat. Unless you're Baroness, she just fucking kills everything, and I just watch and reap the benefits. But yeah, I'm gonna do a quick pun though. Yeah, so not pun. What do you call them?
Plug.
There we go. But yeah, just so you guys, like you said, I'm doing all that. But yeah, come by Three Scoundrels in the Cantina, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, every single Thursday, and then we upload everything to podcast like 15 minutes later. Everything's in the same name, Three Scoundrels in the Cantina. The Huts Hangout is 8 a.m. every Saturday. So we're trying to be nicer to the international people because honestly, I'm becoming more friends with people from across the pond or not in the U.S. So there's a lot of people that are part of this game that I thought, don't really have a podcast to represent them. So we do that. And then, Bonez88.
Do you
on
talk
Twitch.
in an Australian accent when you do the Huts Hangout?
All I do is just let them talk, and every once in a while I'll react and go, "Crikey, mate." That's all I have. But I did tell Mike, my Swugga Daddy and co-host, I said mate naturally on stream the other day.
Yeah.
Like, not even being funny, I just said mate. And I was like, holy shit, you guys are rubbing off on me. Because Americans don't say mate at all.
I think that's
And
actually
I
a
thought
phenomenon that people, when you're around other people with like accents and different vernaculars, you start to just do that naturally around those people. I remember reading about that in the last couple of weeks. But with all of that said, I do recommend his stuff. I do watch and I do listen the next morning because I don't stay up late for that. We're going to sign off for today. If any of you find me a Swugga Daddy to get me a PC, that'd be great. Otherwise, like just some rich,
I'll work on it.
like some Ron Jeremy motherfucker. But we'll be back tomorrow. I'll do TB3. We'll pop in. I'll probably be alone, which will not be as interesting for me. But we'll get these reviews done that I've been promising these people for like the last 4 days. We'll get that stuff done. So I appreciate everybody's time. Thank you for coming, hanging out with us, chatting with us, keeping me from getting bored playing the game. And Bones, I'm going to leave you with, well, before I leave you with the last word, I normally say peace out. I know Scribe is here and he says peace out, may the force be with you. So fuck him. I thought that I was the one that did that. So we'll leave you with the last word today. We don't want him to see me and have him think that I'm copying him.
I know you're trying to get out of here, but what's crazy is I say peace. I don't say peace out, but I always go peace. You'll hear it after everything is counted.
Peace out. So peace is fine. If you want to leave with peace, then that's fine.
All right. Everyone give me a fuck me Bones. But real quick, thank you, man. Appreciate the time. We don't get to do this very often, so I always appreciate it and cherish it. You are my brother. You're one of my best friends, and so I always appreciate hanging out with you, man. With that being said, go into the Discords, fuck me, all that stuff. But yeah, stay around, enjoy the holo tables, and